We're getting set up. We are out on the Tusk River again, but a different section than we've been before. And we have a bunch of stuff we're going to be going over throughout the next couple of hours while I am out. Just getting everything set up here. Sorry, lost you guys for a sec there. Me just getting this all set up real fast. Oh, one thing. Here we go. All right, send that out. Get you guys in position. Get you guys in position. So we're still trying out the newer setup for TikTok. And then you guys on the other channels are still in the same spot you've always been. That's okay. All right. Let's get going here. I just realized I probably should move my keys before we get moving so I don't drop them into the water. Hey, what up, Alex? All right, so we are going to go upstream for a little bit, see how far up I can get. We are in Bolivar, Ohio's section of the river this time, which is kind of in between where we've been in the past. So we've been down in Dover and New Philly. We've also been up in the Massillon area. Now we're in the Bolivar area. The river is actually in pretty good right now because we what is this? Okay, I don't know why that's wanting me to change that, but that's okay. It's not low, but it's also not too high, and it is not too fast, but it's also not slow either. So we did also bring. We actually remembered this time to bring the. Hey, thanks, Alex. To bring our anchor, so we should be able to actually anchor down if needed. All that good stuff. And we'll see if we can't get another smallie or two while we're out today also. The river is nice and clear too for the most part right here. So I should actually be able to see if we've got anybody nearby. It is a little cold out today. We went from 90s every day to where now it's 60s and 70s every day within about a 48-hour period. So that may affect the fishing a little bit also. We'll see. The river has gotten a lot colder than it was even a week ago. So we're going to keep moving up. Just realized I don't even have the pole ready yet. So hopefully we don't see anything too quickly because we are not ready. So the water is getting a little shallower here. Not too bad, but it is a little shallow. I really do not want to have to get out and walk today because of how cold this water is. So we're going to try to avoid that at all possible costs here. Oh, there's something moving over there. So maybe we do got some fish over here. Guess we'll anchor down here in a minute. See if the anchor's working in this. And then we will get our stuff right. Actually, there's a beach right there. I could probably just go sit in Balby. Can the camera film forwards? We're trying to. I can't tilt it forwards any more than it is right now. Once kayak season is done, which at this rate may be within a month, the way that the weather is changing so quickly, I'm gonna look at getting some better options to do the dual camera stuff for you guys over there at TikTok. But for now, this is as good as I can get it. All right, let's go ahead and get over here real fast. It's a little bit easier for me to maneuver get the poles ready and all that. I do only have one pole with me today because the other one, the line snapped on Sunday. Those of you that were watching the stream saw us snap another line on that one. So there's some rocks over here that are little lower to the ground than I anticipated. All right, let's drop this in. See if we can't keep this in place. No, we cannot. The river is faster than my weight. That's interesting. Not going to be using the anchor today. It's too fast for the anchor. All right. Well, let's just do this. No, we're going to crash if I do that. Get us out of the way of danger here, and then we'll get this ready. So what I've got on here, actually, Alex, is their phone holders for the kayak. So that's you guys are on my phone is what you guys are on. And that's the way it's going to have to stay for quite a while. Because I need to have the phone accessible and it just makes it much easier that way. And so I'm able to move it and adjust it, but I can't adjust it too much or it snaps or I can't see the screen. And if I can't see the screen, there's no point in having a chat because I won't be able to see anything. So all right, there we go. So the river is moving a little faster than we thought it was. I'm just going to see if there's anybody over there real fast because we saw some movement and then we're going to keep on pushing our way up. If you notice, those that weren't watching last week, if you notice, you can see the starport right in front of the camera because we had to actually take out the front rod holder to do this. So that's the other thing that I'm having to get used to is not having the front rod holder anymore. All right, we're moving up still. Hey, thanks for the follow. So we're gonna keep getting through some of this lower stuff that's a little harder to paddle through, and then we'll start working on the stuff that we got a lot to talk about today. We've had some interesting interesting interactions over the past 48 hours related to the podcasts and things that we've posted. And then a question we got on Twitch on Sunday that we just didn't have time to get to. And some exciting fishing related stuff also that we're going to cover as well. So hopefully I can get through this. This is super shallow. So we'll see if I can even get through without dragging too much. Because I don't want to have to get out and walk again like I did last time. I'm dragging on the kayak isn't my paddle is dragging. Man, all right. Let's see if I go this way a little bit. It's a little bit deeper over here, but I'm still not able to move. All right, well, we're going the other direction because this is not going well trying to go forward. But while we're floating, let's see if there's anybody over in this area over here. We are about to run into a tree. So, or hang on. There's a tree right here that we got to avoid hitting. Oh, we lost our worm. We did actually have something on there. Okay. That's good to know. So, while we're floating, we'll start with the fishing news first. So, some of you may have seen, we've been asking some different questions related to the fishing community. We are in the process of building a website that will house a database of water locations and things like that that can be added to by users. And this is different than the ones that we see on apps like FishBrain and stuff like that, because those ones have a lot of information, but it's a lot of information that people that don't know fishing or just trying to get started or that are just looking to find out information about the water for like kayaking purposes don't need. They're looking for different information like, can I actually park? Where is there actually water access? Can I actually put my kayak on the water here without having to pay a fee? What fish have people seen? Not what they say is in the lake, because this is, because it's this part of the country and it's this kind of lake, it means it has this kind of fish. What have we actually seen and have evidence that the fish are actually there? That kind of stuff is what we want to get a database together for. So here in the next, hopefully by Friday, we will have the beta site up for people to be able to start working on adding their things. Oh, we might have a bite. Maybe not. No. Oh yeah, there was a bite, but nothing big. See, this is the issue. We're already back at my truck, which is why I was like, I really wanted to go upstream first, but can't do that today apparently. Um, but yeah, we're building out this site. It should also have some blogs and things like that for beginners that have more beginner level knowledge than what I typically was able to find when I was first starting. Um, things like safety tips, things like what do even some of these terms that other people are using mean. Things like that is what we're looking to do. So all of that should hopefully, at least the beta testing and site to test, hopefully is going to be done by Friday. So if you're interested, make sure you're following us on all the different channels, subscribe to us on all the different channels, so that way you can stay up to date on everything related to that side of it. And we'll talk about that more as we go today. And if anybody has any questions about it, feel free to drop them in the chat. But there's bubbles right here in front of me. I'll let it sit there for a minute and float on by. So yeah, stay tuned for all that kind of stuff. As I said, we're hoping to have the beta site up here within the week, if not the weekend. Um, and we really just want to be able to provide a different kind of service is the main thing. Because like I said, the stuff that I always am looking for to decide if I've got time to go because of the fact I've got kids and other things I've got to watch and everything like that. That I is information I can't ever find. Like how quickly can I get on the water? What's the parking situation like? Um, different things like that. So, hey, we got Flash Goal over here. So we'll get that set up while I get Worm on. And then we will be starting the theology discussion here shortly because we've got a lot to go through on that side of it as well. Let's see if I can't get this before we get down. You guys are messy. All right, let's see here. Throw this guy out. See if we can't find anybody back there. Good news is we are slowing down a little bit, so we should be able to paddle back without too much issue. Ooh, that was a hit. It was a hit, but nothing. All right. Hey, thanks for the follow. Try over here for a minute. So here's the thing, we know beyond shadow of a doubt there are a ton of smallmouth right here in this area of the river. The problem is knowing exactly where, and I believe the best spot for them was further up where we could not get to because of how bad how low actually is the issue, the water. So we are gonna have to try going the other direction, which I didn't really want to do today, but we'll see. We just are gonna have to turn back a little bit sooner than I anticipated. That's the main. Okay, thanks for the follow. So we're about to go under an overpass if you can't tell. All right, once we get on the other side of the overpass, we'll start the theology discussions up here. Like I said, we got a lot to cover between all the stuff that we've had come up just in the past 72 hours-ish. Need to get adjusted here. We almost got stuck on a log that was submerged that I did not see. Could have been bad. It is much muddier on this side of the overpass. Much, much muddier. Let me scoot up a little bit because there's a couple of logs out there. Felt like we had a bite for a second. I think we just got stuck in some grass. All right, so stuff we need to talk about today. The first thing was a question that was brought up towards the end of Sunday's fishing with the church. We had somebody ask about, from a pastoral perspective, what do we say about Mormonism? And so, yeah, this is kind of cool. There's a couple hawks circling. Anyway, what do we say about Mormonism? And so that needs to have its own little time to talk. Because here's the thing with Mormonism. The reason why we say it is not actually Christianity, there should be a couple of reasons. But the main reason that is cited is that they typically, within Mormonism, the deity of Jesus is denied. Now, there are Mormons that will deny that that's the case, but it's because of the way that they talk about Jesus. They will claim Jesus to be God, but in a completely different way than how Scripture actually talks about it. Jesus being the firstborn of all creation is the idea that Jesus was created. Not, we got a big bite there. That he was created, not that he is the creator. That the way that Jesus became God, and because Jesus became God, so can we. A lot of different things like that, which that is the part that is really where it differs. Oh, it's a stick. Differs from, Orthodox Christianity, the Apostles' Creed, things like that. That's the main issue that we have theologically. Now, there should be other issues as well, because the idea of polygamy, which I know is not as big of a thing in most of Mormonism now, there are some sects that still practice it. That's something that we should have an issue with as believers, saying that was God's intention and design. Especially considering the fact that what we have in Corinthians, that Paul talks about the fact that as believers, realistically, it's better to remain single. So why would having multiple spouses be an issue? You also have other issues, things like the rampant abuse, rampant things like that, which unfortunately is a mark of a lot of other Christian denominations that we don't consider to be cults or heretics or anything like that. We have the same level of abuse things going on there, which is more of a slight against mainline Christianity and denominations than it is against Mormonism, because again, we don't deal with it within the mainline Protestant churches or within evangelicalism or anything else. So why are we saying that it's a problem within Mormonism? Same issue that we have with a lot of Protestants that are just anti-Catholic. They're anti-Catholic because they claim, well, we're just protecting the kids. Look at the abuse. But then they say nothing about the same abuse things going on within the SBC or within the Methodist Church or anything like that. So it's more complicated than just it's a cult, and so stay away from it. We gotta understand why. The main issue is the fact that it denies the divinity of the Son. That's the biggest issue out of all of them. You also have issues with things like the Book of Mormon. You have issues with the fact that it's very much a American Christianity idea. But again, we have the same thing going on within evangelicalism, same thing going on with all these other things of this idea of an American Christianity. So why that's the thing people want to focus on, not quite sure, because they don't focus on it with anybody else. So that's that part of the discussion. But that does lead into the other discussions that we were going to have, because we have had an interesting 24 hours or so. A couple Christian nationalists found a Twitter post of mine from January of 2024 and decided to start up a conversation about it. And their main things were, again, they claim that one of them claiming that Christian nationalism didn't exist and that it's a boogeyman created to discourage Christians. And then you also had things like a guy who very openly admitted the fact that he acknowledges there are people that are doing horrific things, claiming to be Christian nationalism, that he was denying is actually Christian nationalism. And so there was a lot of things going on about all of that. Now, here's the issue. Besides the fact that I'm now stuck in these rapids and can't seem to get out, means I'm gonna wait until later to get out because it's gonna warm up a little bit. It's still a little chilly to get out in the water here. Yeah, we are now. What is that? Can't tell if that's some swimming or if that's just a big rock. Anyway, that has led to quite a few discussions, and they're discussions that we've had numerous times. We've written a bunch of stuff. We've done a lot of episodes over on the Misfits podcast on. This is nothing new. What was new about it in some ways was the fact that the accusations against us, one of them is that we don't have a proper definition of nationalism. Oh, hang on. Woo, we are getting hit by rocks. Ooh. The river is way lower here than it was even at the other spot. I may have to actually get out. It gets deeper up there, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to ever paddle that through this. We're only halfway through. How cold is this water? Wow, that's frigid. Whew, okay. Hold that thought, because we're going to need to get out here. Well, no, it got deep all of a sudden. Hang on, maybe we don't. So back to the fishing discussion. This is one of the things that we want to be able to provide with that thing, is the fact that there are places where when the river is low, it becomes dangerous. Because all of these rocks and stuff potentially can tear a hole in the hull, which then means I sink. We don't want that. So, my goodness, this is just nasty up here. All right, hang on, guys. I don't know if you can see. Goodness, it's pulling me already. All right, I gotta figure this out real fast. What to do? Hey, thanks for the follow in the midst of my panic here. I'm not really panicked. I'm just trying to figure this out. Afraid if I get out, the boat's gonna take off without me. I'm gonna lose you guys completely. All right, we're gonna figure out. I guess if I gotta get out and walk anyway, I might as well do the upstream then. You're almost there. All right, you guys still with me? We're slowly getting there. My feet are finally getting used to the temperature of the water. So there is that. Whew. Almost through it. Almost through it. A little bit further, and then I think I can get in and paddle again. We're almost there, guys. What's weird is that this right here is the launch for a canoe company. How are they getting through this? If the kayak can't get through here, how's the canoe? All right, we're gonna try to get in now without tipping. Sending you all swimming. All right. There we go. Well, we're already drifting backwards. There we go. All right, I think we're okay now. Woo! That was interesting, but we did it. So anyway, Christian nationalism, that's what we're talking about. So yeah, the arguments typically that we get now. In the past, it's always been much more people trying to argue theoreticals with us. Now the issue is just people have a problem with the definition that we've been giving, which we've been giving this definition for a long time. Misfits, we've only been actually like on air for about 5 years. But I've been talking Christian nationalism for almost 10 years. This is nothing new. This is stuff that we've been talking about for quite a while. The definition that we present with nationalism is it is a, and I'm going to get it slightly wrong because I don't remember the beginning part 100% off the top of my head. I'm doing an ideology where the national interests are put first. And then the big piece of it, though, that actually matters, especially to the detriment and exclusion of others. So the issue that we then present is that how can nationalism be Christian when Philippians 2 tells us that to live Christ-like, we are called to put the needs of others first and consider others more highly than we consider ourselves. And I've asked a lot of Christian nationalists over the years the question of how do you reconcile nationalism in Philippians 2? And now what we are seeing is people arguing that the definition we are giving is a fake that I apparently somehow created using Photoshop, even though to clarify, we post a screenshot of the Oxford English Dictionary that defines nationalism that way. And the response is always saying, well, you created that photo. We can't trust Photoshop. We can't trust dictionaries. We can't trust any of this. And that causes a big problem. Why is it that we as believers are more willing to trust, not willing to trust things like dictionary and our own eyes when we see things on the news and things like that? Why are we no longer willing to trust anything that goes against what we think we know and what we think we've been told? This is nothing new. We've been dealing with this for a while, but it's becoming much more of a issue where the standards for how people are reacting to Christian nationalism have changed to the point where it's becoming much harder to be able to show people what is actually going on because there's just a denial of reality. Last night, in the midst of all of this, we also saw a video of a candidate for Congress where she had gone and with a flamethrower burned the Quran, wearing a shirt with I believe it was an AR-15 on it. She spells her name. Her name has an I in it. She spells the I with a shell casing. And her main thing is that she claims that she has been endorsed by Jesus and that she is going to help usher in a Christian nation. And this is why we continually say over and over and over, Christian nations can't exist. We have to get that through our heads, that Christian nations cannot exist. Because the moment that a nation or a Christian community decides to become a nation, they cease being Christian. They cease being Christian. The moment that a nation decides to be Christian, they cease being a nation and they become the church. A gathering of believers is simply that. It is the church. It's not a nation. It's not a state. It is the church. And it's that way intentionally because the goals of a nation are completely counter to the goals of the church. Christians are called to lay power down, not seize it. Christians are called to put others first, not put ourselves first. They are called to be peacekeepers and peacemakers, not warriors that are bickering and divided over borders. We're called to care for the stranger among us, not create strangers among us. We're called to do all of these different things that nations are not called to do. And they can't do if they want to actually stay a nation in power. And that's the part that everybody suddenly is up in arms about, is that they claim that the idea of what it means to be a Christian, what it means to be the church, is what is the problem. Not that they have a problem necessarily with the idea that if that is what the church is called to, then it's impossible for a nation to be Christian. They have much more of a problem with the idea that that is what the church is called to. And typically the response then becomes, well, why are you trying to divide over, to claim I'm not a believer over my politics and things like that? But the reality is it's not a political discussion. This is 100% a theological discussion. It's a theological discussion because it comes down to our eschatology, our ecclesiology, and what we actually believe about the Imago Dei. Because all of the conversations that we have, when I tell them the Christian nation can't exist and they argue that it can, I present them with an article we wrote a few years ago about this hypothetical Christian island. So we were asked by a Christian nationalist if there was a island that suddenly appeared in the Pacific and it was immediately colonized by 1,000 Christians, would we call it a Christian nation? And so in that article, I present what would that actually look like? Because if we're claiming it's a Christian nation founded by Christians that want to promote Christ-like ideals, what would it look like? And so we listed things like the fact that there would be no private property. There would be no police force. There would be no military. There would be no weapons at all. There would be universal, there would be healthcare for all. There would be education for all. No one would be going hungry. No one would be going thirsty. No one would be going without care. And the response to all of it is like, well, you're just describing communism. Or yesterday I was told that I'm just promoting the Democratic Party's policies, which I don't know any Democrat that's okay with no military, no police force. I don't know anyone that would say that in Congress that would say that it's okay to give up our military completely. But that's what the call of the Christian is. All of those things are things that we took out of Acts, out of Matthew, out of John. But we've been conditioned to think that anything that goes against American values is automatically communism. If it's communism, then it's obviously against what Christianity is all about. But the reality is that there cannot be a Christian nation for the exact reason everybody thinks it's communism. Because the moment that we start to get into what we as believers are called to do is the moment that we have to immediately abandon the empire. And that's what people are not willing to do and not willing to accept, is that the way of Christ is completely counter to the empire. So again, this is nothing new. This is nothing that we haven't covered before, but it was just interesting that yesterday seemed to spark a lot of things a little bit differently, because the conversation no longer is hypothetical. Now it is just a straight up, this is what is happening in society. And so for those that still want to deny that it exists, I'd ask, have you turned on the news at all? For those that want to deny that it's nothing to be concerned about, again, have you turned on the news at all? And for those that want to still claim that it's the way of Jesus, I would ask, what Jesus is it that you're actually following? So that is the rant that we needed to go on this morning because of the rants that we had people going on yesterday. There was one other thing that came up, and I'll probably hit it here in a minute, but I think I'm about to have to get out and push again because I was about to come up where I had to turn around the first time. It is a little sunnier over here, which means that the water should be a little bit warmer. My feet have already dried, which I was a little worried that they were not going to. Because it is not as hot as it has been the past few months. I'm actually double layered at the moment, if you can't tell from the video. Once we get past up here, we'll be able to actually cast out again, and hopefully we'll be able to get up to the bridge that I want to get to. There's two more overpasses that we should cross if I timed this right. We had it timed right when we first came, but now that we've had to turn around twice, I don't know that we've timed it right as much. We've passed my truck twice already. So we'll see here. Those of you that may be watching on Twitch, make sure to say hi so we can add your name to the drawing. I don't know when Joe is actually planning on doing the drawing, but the deal still is in place that if you let us know you're here, your name is going to be added to the drawing for some discounted merchandise. If I get everything set up properly, those of you that follow us on Twitch and TikTok for the outdoor stuff should automatically get a discount on the Misfits merch. And then we also are hoping to put out a separate Patreon for just the outdoor stuff here soon as well to help pay for the database that we're working on. Hey, what up, Primo? Well, if you can call this kayaking, we're on a very low river and we've already had to turn around twice. And now that I've had to get out, I'm like, well, we might as well go the way we intended to go the first time. So like my paddle is now dragging here. So I'm probably gonna have to get out and pull again. Not quite as long as last time. Last time it took me almost 5 minutes, I think, to get out of the rapids we were stuck in. We'll see. I've only been able to cast a couple times. We have had a few bites already though, which I wasn't sure. The water is much colder now. We've had massive temperature drops the past 48 hours or so. Yeah, I'm now hitting the bottom when I trip. We're gonna have to probably get out and push. Unless I can get over here, because it's a little deeper over here. I might be able to go a little further. Nope, I am now beat. All right, we're gonna have to get out and pull. And hopefully this thing doesn't take off without me. I think I'm gonna push, because I don't know how far I need to go before I get too careful. Almost fell. We're okay. It's very grassy in here also, so that makes it a little difficult even just to get out and walk with it. But we're getting it. Slowly but surely. This right here, I think, is actually where we had to turn around last time. Where it gets super fast. A little shallow over here. Here. Almost there. Almost. All right, I think we're okay now. Let's go ahead and try this out. This is the part that I hate, is getting back in. There we go. We're back in the boat. Kind of. I'm almost back in the boat. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Get moving. Awesome. We'll see you later, Primo. All right, we're moving again. We're moving again. Fortunately, it may be just too shallow for there to be fish over here. Ooh, something's circling over here though by the boat, but I don't see anything. So the water is shallow and clear enough that I can see the bottom. Like it's not like this anything can be hiding from us today. It's just a matter of getting there. Hey, we'll see you too, Alex. All right, here we go. We're moving again. It's getting shallow though again also, so I don't know if we're gonna have to get out again or not. Not quite as shallow over here. We got to maneuver right so we don't lose our pole. We're gonna lose the pole if I don't. Let's get this down. Well, now I can't paddle. And we're beached again. Now we're beached under a tree. All right, guys. I'm gonna let it push us out a little bit. I'm gonna try to get out of the tree at least. I don't know why the water is so low here. What? I don't know what that was about. Apparently I hit something on my camera. All right, we're gonna have to get out. Again. One more time, right? One more time. Oh, dude, your English is good. I don't know. You got nothing to apologize for. All right. We're here again. All right. I'm gonna get back in here. I'm not stranded by any means. We're just struggling to find deep enough water to paddle without causing damage. Woo! Struggling to get on this. There we go. Let's get moving. So there's a large tree down that probably has a few fish in it. Straight ahead of me. Try to get over there. There we go. We're moving again. It's not nearly as shallow here, and it looks pretty peaceful and calm up ahead, so we shouldn't have any more of that until we come back. So let's keep moving. There we go. We're moving again. Water's back to being probably at least 8 to 10 inches, maybe a foot deep. Now the water's, yeah, we're at least a foot up now. So we're back in a better position. So we're working our way over. Now I do need to get over on this side because it does get low right there because of the tree, but we should be okay. Unfortunately, this was the best option I had for getting out on the water today, because the lakes, which I don't ever have this issue with, were all a little too far away for me to be able to get where I needed to get today. So we had to go this route, which we hadn't been out on this side yet. So we figured it was worth a shot. Which again is part of why we're building this database up, to allow people to not have to do what I'm doing, where they're just trying out some place that they've never tried before and nobody is willing to give them any information. because I really don't need to know about the fishing. I need to know the fact that there are multiple places where the rapids are so bad that it could potentially destroy your kayak if you tried to paddle through. That's what the information I needed. So we are going to go around the rapids over here. And then, wow, this power line is super low. We may need to, I don't know, it probably looks lower than it is, but I really don't want to get electrocuted. It may not even be power, it may be communication line, but we're going to throw it down. This isn't a lake, this is a river. That's what I was saying. This is the Tuscarawas River. The lake, we wouldn't be having this kind of issue. But there are spots in this river that are super clear, like almost crystal clear. And then there are other parts like this that are just super muddy and murky. And it also is what's affecting the water level, is the fact that we're now in the murky stuff, which is what's letting us actually paddle through. But we're about to get into clear stuff, because I can see the bottom again now. And we got rapids up here, but they're not quite as low to the ground, so we should be able to just sneak right past without any issues whatsoever. Oh, that's a little fast, but we're moving. There we go. We're almost through it. There's a bunch of rocks to the right and the left of me, but we're in a little clear area here. Almost through it. Almost through it. Almost through it. There we go. We're almost through it, guys. If I can get over here where it's a little slower, we'll be in good shape. We are almost through. Almost through. We're shallow enough I could get out and push if we need to, but I think we can make it out of here without needing to get out. Whew. Almost. Maybe I can just assist with my leg. We'll be able to get out. All right. One more time getting out and pushing. This section of the river is fast, apparently. All right, we're almost past this tree. We're getting to being a little too deep for me to walk, so we're going to get in again. Oh, I'm sure it probably is. This is not a big stream or big river. And it feeds into a lot bigger rivers. And so I mean it's kept pretty clean for the most part. I almost tripped. There we go, I can get in now. Yeah, I'm sure it probably is cleaner than the Yangtze. I don't know why I keep trying to do it that way. I know I can get it. This is the only option. Turn around. Turn up. Turn up. Come on. Turn around. Ah. Here we go. We're moving again. Yeah, this is, oh my goodness, this just got super shallow again. I was past my knees, so I got back in, and now we're super shallow again. This area is just super sporadic. All right, it's getting deeper again. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice environment here. It's not bad. It's just a matter of not knowing what to expect depending on the weather, depending on the day. That's again, that's more of what we're wanting to provide with that database that we're working on. We're moving. You know, I do want to throw over there, but I don't have a worm on. That makes it difficult. Oh, I lost a worm. Sorry. There we go. Gonna leave that sit while I push it forward a little bit. I really don't want to have to get out and walk right away. I think I'm snagged. I snagged something, I think. Yep. Some grass. Snagged a little bit of grass. That's all right. Probably it's snagged there. Nice. All right. Let's keep moving up. Oh, yeah. Cicadas are out big right now. That time of year. Yeah, you're discovering why Happy Panda over on Twitch has classified us as a cozy stream, because we have a lot of clean nature sounds while still being right next to me is Interstate 77. Like I can see the cars passing, they can see me. So it's, interesting setup where we've got all these clean water, nature sounds, everything like that, just paddling along, and then right next to us are trucks going 70 miles an hour. I want to go ahead and throw over here real fast. I have a feeling we can probably get something right in here. There's a lot of trees down. The water's deeper, the water's murky, and it's slow moving. I mean, there's a lot of trees down of different sizes and shapes and everything. What's surprising is I have not seen fish jumping. Oh, hey, Geo in the house. What up, Geo? We were just talking about your girl a second ago, of the fact that she has classified my stream as being cozy. You missed the fun discussion already, though. We talked about Mormonism. We talked about Christian nationalism. I had to get out and push 4 times already. And then, yeah, it's been interesting so far. We also talked about the fact, and I'll use this as a chance to talk about it again. We are in the process of building a new website for the fishing stuff. So that website is going to have quite a few different features on it. There's going to be a blog with some beginner level information that's not quite as advanced as you get with a lot of the fishing channels and things like that. We're going to be offering equipment recommendations that are a little bit cheaper than a lot of channels are recommending as well. But then the other big thing is that we want to build, I thought I heard something. We want to build a database of places for people to go related to the water. So places that you go for kayaking, places that you go for fishing, that you want to leave some information about, so that we can start building up a database for people that don't have time to just go out and just search, but they want to get on the water where it's safe. They want to go somewhere where they have somebody in their family that needs wheelchair access, but they don't know where they can go for that. Those of us that are parents, where we can go where there are public restrooms, where we can go that provides food and drink, where we can go that has accessible parking that's safe for the kids, places that do rentals, all of that kind of stuff is the information we want to be able to provide people. And so we're hoping to have the beta version of this done. I think that's a turtle over there swimming around. Not sure. Yeah, that's a huge snapping turtle that's just kind of surfacing every once in a while. Yeah, anyway. Uh-oh. We may have our first snag of the day. Hey, what up, Bubba? But yeah, we're building out this database. Like I said, Friday is when I'm hoping, by Friday, I'm hoping that it'll be launched in its beta version so that we can start getting some information listed beyond just the places that I've gone. And then, we're going to just build. The other nice thing is that at the moment, the goal is that we're going to make this a free site, which means that we are going to need some help with funding it. And that for a while, the beta site is going to have a super long URL because I can't afford a domain name. Ooh, yeah. Well, and hey, throw the bicycle stuff on there also. Throw the bicycle stuff. Like, we want to find out where there's the bike paths, things like that as well. That's a feature I can add in. Actually, it's already set up where places that have other amenities is how we have listed it. So like hiking trails, things like that. It's continuing to be a 40. I don't even know what 40 degrees Celsius is, man. But it's only, it was, when I got up this morning, it was only 55 degrees Fahrenheit. So nice. Yeah, Gio, you'll have to see if you're running past places with water and can get this kind of information for us and want to add the fact they've got good hiking or running trails or bike trails, whatever, and throw it in there, because that's what we want to try to provide a service for, especially for parents that are trying to get this figured out. There are a ton of bubbles over here. Oh, I lost my worm because I'm tied up. Wow, we are really tied up. Let's get another worm on here. I may actually do a double just in case. But yeah, we're hoping to have the beta site up and running by Friday. Like I said, we're working on getting it. It's not going to be perfect right off the bat. It's going to be it may take a little bit of time for people to get used to. And it may take a little bit of time for it to be fully mobile optimized. But like we said, we're hoping that it's a good service to offer. We've gotten mixed reviews, so we'll see. All right, we're gonna go ahead and try to throw it back in there, Harry. Just gotta get turned around. Oh, we got bites, I think. No, I think maybe we're stuck on something in the water. It's not a fish. Yeah, we're stuck on something. There it goes. We're free again. We're free again. Throw over here again, though. Like I said, I can see there's something moving over here, but I don't know if it's another turtle or if we've got an actual fish over here or what. Again, this is smallmouth country, so we should be able to get something like we normally do. But Oh, we just saw a fish jump. So we have a jump now. We at least are confirmed that there are fish around. So we've had some bites. So it's not like we haven't had anything up to this point. It's just nothing that's done anything major. Avoid that other log. All right, we're gonna keep moving up a little bit. Just leave that out there while we move up. Man, we know they're in here. There are bubbles all over the place. We've been getting bites, things like that. Just nothing that's one to latch on. Now we're twist it up a little bit. There we go. Oh, we got something or no? Felt like a bite and then a pull. Maybe we got a stick. No, nothing. Okay. Oh no, something did take off part of the worm. I don't know if it was a fish or not, but something took off part of the worm. Let's keep moving. So, Gio, the other thing that you'll be able to help me with then, the other thing we want to do is just get a collection of some good nature shots and things like that for like a little gallery there. So, oh, yeah. So, Alex, you're talking about the golden window idea for. So, here's the thing I found is that while that's true for people that top water fish, it's not necessarily true for everybody else because around here they're gonna eat when they're gonna eat regardless. Um, and so it's much more of just finding them is what I've found has been the issue. Is um, there's a lot of places for them to hide, and so if you don't find them, you're not going to get anything. This is part of what we want to do with this, with the website and the blog, is that like they talk about the golden window hour. They talk about you need to fish this style at this time of day. That for a lot of people, that's not really accessible. It's complicated. It's technical. Even those that are trying to not make it technical, it's still technical. Um, and so you've got kid parents that are just trying to figure. Their kids want to try to fish for the first time and they don't know what to do. Um, and you've got all these sites talking about water temperature and moon positioning and the air pressure means that we need to be throwing this color and all of this, and this, which it's all true. And it's all helpful for those of us that know what that means, but there's a lot of people that have no idea and it can be overwhelming. And so we want to try to provide something that's not overwhelming and that can just let people get outside and just try and do what they can without it also costing a bunch of money. Because that's the other issue, is that a lot of these places that want you to, they are promoting their sponsors, which obviously they should, but there needs to be some cheaper options. That's why, luckily, one of the people that we promote all the time is Bubbaville Custom Baits, who is just in the chat. His stuff is actually affordable, and it's custom made, and it works. I have not caught anything on it, but we know it works because we see the results all the time from other people. So that kind of stuff is what we're looking to do a little bit more of. Hey, we found a crane. It's now officially one of my streams. We have a crane following us again. Unfortunately, it's 100% possible that this section of the stream or the river we're actually going to be able to be on, we may not actually. Oh, there's something moving though. I may have spoke too soon. There's something moving. Ooh, there's quite a bit moving over here. Hang on. We got movement up here. We got movement over here. So we're gonna just try to see what will come. Ooh, there was a bite. We're gonna go ahead and try and put the anchor down. Don't know that it's gonna do anything, but we're gonna try. See if that will keep us in place for a little while. Uh-oh. The anchor's getting away from me. Well, this could be a problem now. Actually, I think we're, for the most part, steady. Oh, nice. Any particular reason why? Just because, or? Trying to see if we can't get any more bites over here or not. So Alex asks, I want to know, do Americans always split the bill when eating out? No. I mean, it just depends on the situation, I guess. Some people do. Some people don't. Some people trade off and on if they're covering it or not. I mean, most of the time I'm only eating with my family, so I pay for it regardless. Um, it just all just depends on the situation and the person. And sometimes it depends on where you're eating also. Like we've got some places around here in Amish country that it's family style. So literally you order for the whole table. And if you order for the whole table, then the whole table then has to split. But I mean, I will say, Alex, that's the first time I've had that kind of question asked to me during a live stream. I've never had that question before. So TikTok over on Twitch, our moderator Gio was talking about how he just restarted reading the book of Genesis again. I asked him why, and his answer was, I was reading the Old Testament and I forgot where I left off, so I'm having to start over. That's awesome. Speaking of, we should be back on for Kingdom on the Road Friday. As far as I know, we're back in session. There was a lot going on last week for everybody on Friday, and so it just didn't happen. I just realized there's still plastic on this reel that I hadn't gotten off yet. All right, I think we're gonna go ahead and keep moving because nothing's fighting anymore. They're still a little bit behind me. So maybe I'll throw behind me. Just see. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get my anchor because it scooted over to the front of the boat and it's now out of my reach a little bit. And we're stuck. All right, I gotta get my anchor stuck. Come on, do this. This is the first time though that I've dropped anchor and it actually worked. Like it actually did what it was supposed to do. So I guess there's that. All right, now let's figure out what to do. Oh, there is a tree right here. Okay. As I'm pulling, I now can see that I landed right into a sunken tree. That hopefully I'll be able to get out of without too much trouble here. Oh, no, that's not it. Okay. That's not the tree. There it goes. We're out. All right. We got to turn around and keep going upstream a little bit here. All right. Here we go. So I know for a fact now I am not going to make it up to where I was hoping to make it today. But that's okay. We're going to just do what we can. There is definitely something right here. Like, I mean, there's no doubt there's something swimming right here. There are just bubbles everywhere. Just why it's not wanting to do anything for me, I don't know. All right, I'm gonna drop this down, let it drag a little bit, and move around. Let's get back going upstream. Who knows? Maybe when we come downstream, they'll be more interested. You never know. Some swimming right here again. Let's see. Keep moving. Bunch of big trees down over here. But I know for a fact I get snagged there. Ooh, boy. Speaking of giant logs, oh boy. Those are the kind that'll rip your hole open if you're not careful. Like, this is a massive tree that is down right here. So, Chad, I'm having to watch a little closer the water at the moment. So sorry if I'm missing anything. We got somebody swimming right here. Like I'm watching him swim. Nothing. My goodness. I missed your birthday. What are you talking about? No, I did not miss your birthday. We actually said on stream about the fact that it was your birthday. You missed the fact that we said it, is what happened. I'm just saying that I watched all the chats going on Discord right before we went on air, and then when you got on, I mentioned it. Have we caught any fish yet? No, not today. We've had some bites. We've seen a couple. No, nothing in yet today. So we're hoping to get something before the end. I said this is a heavy smallmouth area. It's also a heavy muskie area, but we do not have bait on for a muskie, so probably won't get any of them. We saw our first muskie last. When was that? 2 Fridays ago. So, that is one of the other things I'm putting on the website just for fun. Is I do have a fish counter. That'll show how many fish I've caught during a certain season. So I think right now we're sitting at like 101 for this year so far, which is good because last year we did our Fish 100 on December 31st of 2024 was Fish 100 for the year. So this year we're ahead of schedule. The wind's taking me. Wind's taking me when you get back. Turned around here. Oh. All right. Most people call it skunk. So Alex asked what the special word is when you don't catch any fish. And it's normally skunk is the term that people throw around. Part of what I'm doing today, though, is I'm also just kind of exploring for the purpose of the database and everything and to know for the future. So I'm not too worried if I don't get anything today. It'd be nice to get something today. I also needed to record that section of theology talk we did right there at the beginning. So there's also that. So this today was a little bit different than some of the other streams we've done. I am getting blistered because of how hard I'm having to paddle this trip. I'm normally not getting blistered, but today I am. There are definitely some cats that have mudded up in here because I'm passing over places that I can see the bottom and there's bubbles, and the bubbles are coming out from underneath. So typically that means it's cat somewhere down deep. I'm not going to be able to get to him without having to sit and wait and wait and wait. And I can't really do that on this river. So, ooh, something big just jumped straight ahead. Oh, there goes the crane. Oh, we got a bite. We might get something here. But I'm not sure if it's a fish or if I'm getting pulled by the current. These are hard pulls. I can't imagine that's the current. But it's also too light up there for it to be a fish. Right, let's keep moving. Interesting. So Alex just informed us that we use the phrase skunk typically when we don't catch anything on a trip. Alex just told us in China it's called air force. Pronunciation is kongjun or kongjun. So we're gonna screenshot that because that's gonna be something we may use later. Got the line stuck to me. Just gotta check one thing. Looked like I had a text message, but no, it was just Geo talking to his people over in Discord. So another expression is degoy. mean, hit turtle. We have seen a snapping turtle this morning also. Luckily, we stayed away from it, but we got some current again. But not nearly as bad this time. We should be able to pass right over without having to get out and push. Feels like mostly wind on this section of it. There are a lot of like caterpillar woolly worm type stuff on the water here too that have fallen out of the trees. So it's possible nobody's hungry. They're getting a good amount of just bugs falling, worms and bugs falling in. But we'll see. There's a branch underneath. May get stuck on if I don't get the scent. How I was asked about catch and release laws. So it depends on the fish. Some fish there's no limit. Some fish it's literally just if you catch it, it's yours if you want it. Other fish it just depends on the length. You're only allowed a certain amount certain times. Most carp we're told we're supposed to just take out because they're an invasive species. But it's not like we're penalized if we don't. Uh, so like the cats that we took the one day, they were all about 15 inches and about a pound. They were medium-sized channel cats for the area we were at, and we were allowed to take those, and so we did. Oh, we got tugs. Oh, I think we got one on. Oh, he let go, I think. We had one on. We had one. We'll see if we can get him back. We had one, guys, and we lost it. Yeah, there was a fish on just now, and then he threw the hook. Probably a smallmouth based off of where we're sitting. But we're gonna try one more time, and then we're gonna keep moving upstream. Now I'm just dragging the bottom, I think. Yeah, we're just dragging the bottom now. All right, we're gonna throw it over there in case it decides it wants it, but we're gonna keep on moving. We're not gonna play around too much with it anymore. Yo, Bubba, what up? What up? What up? So, Bubba, I don't know if you heard, but I'm gonna let you know now while you're in here for like the 15th time we've said it. So, we are working on a new website that will have a database that people can add to and access that people can put in water locations on. So, whether it's kayaking, boating, or fishing, they'll be able to put on that gives different information than all those apps give us, because those apps give us a bunch of technical information for fishermen. But for the person that's just looking for a place to go and get out for a little bit, doesn't have a lot of time to research, person that's trying to just take their kids somewhere for a little bit and just wants to know, what's safe, all that. People that need wheelchair access, things like that, can't find it on those apps. So we want to provide those kind of things. Oh, I lost my worm. So that we are hoping to have the beta site for it done on probably, hopefully Friday. And then once that is launched, then we're going to keep on improving it, things like that. But we want to provide some spots that are more designed for beginners and designed for parents and designed for the not so serious fishermen. We want to provide a place for that online. So we're building that out, and like I said, we're hoping that it'll be launched Friday at the latest, if not a little bit earlier. All right, we need to turn around. Now we're going the wrong direction again. Duck under. Yeah, you say you got burnt out. Was it because you just don't have time, or is it just because of the fact that you're constantly making baits in your free time? Alex asked what species of fish are in this area. So this river specifically is big on smallmouth bass and on pike and muskie. And then catfish. I mean, catfish are everywhere in these waters. That's typically what people find in this specific river. I typically catch a lot of smallmouths in here. This is where I actually catch the most smallmouths. Um, the bigger the lakes that I go to, typically I'm pulling out cats. whether they're channel cats or blue cats or flatheads. That's typically what I target and can get out of the lakes. Largemouth are big around here, not as big as you get in some of the other areas. Perch is another big one. If you start heading up towards the Cleveland area, which is about an hour from where I'm sitting right now, walleye are big, stuff like that. Yeah, salmon are not around here. Salmon are western. We have trout around here. Steelhead specifically are the big ones out of the Cuyahoga River. And then, like I said, a lot of perch is the other big one that the lakes around here have. Yeah. Yeah, that's a Bubba. That's part of why I'm finding that there's not many sources for the information that I actually find helpful. And so I imagine there's quite a few other people that don't find it helpful as well. It's because a lot of the stuff is geared towards more of what you're talking about as far as like tournament style and everything like that. And, you know, for those of us that don't do tournaments because we don't have time, you know, it's kind of annoying to only get tournament level information when I'm just wanting to know if like this place that I'm trying to go to will let me put my kayak in or not. We'll see. I wonder if your style of everything's going to change once the baby gets here or not there, Bubba. Because your schedule and your stress levels and everything are going to flip-flop a little bit. Ooh, this is a big thing in the river that I don't want to hit. But that's part of my issue now is that, you know, finding babysitting in general is a hassle. But then that corresponds with time that I'm able to be, that the weather will let me be out in a location that will let me actually do something while also allowing me now to be able to get back in time to pick my daughter up from the bus stop since school has started up again. You know, makes it a little harder. Yeah, so Bubba produces a lot of soft plastics, and he's also doing other lures now as well. I've got Bubba sticks and Philippian craws sitting in my tackle box. I don't fish a lot of artificials. When I do fish artificials, they're typically Bubba's. But hey, thanks for the gifts. Fishing is slow because we've had quite a few times we've had to turn around due to the rapids. A couple of times I had to get out and push, which it's feeling like we may be in another spot where we're going to have to get out and push, but we'll see. We've had quite a few bites. We had one fish on that threw the hook. You know, it's been an interesting day. There's something swimming around over there, but there's no way I'm going to be able to get to it without losing the hook. There's a bunch of stuff swimming around here, but that may be the current also. Duck flying by. Oh, man. I'm getting blisters today. I'm having to paddle much harder than I normally do because we're going upstream at the moment. But here in about a half hour or so, I'll be turning around, and it's not going to take me nearly as long to get down. We've already passed my truck 2 or 3 times because we've had to turn. I was avoiding getting in the water for as long as possible because it's a little chilly today. But didn't matter which direction I went, we had super low rock, rapidy areas that there was no way to do. I had to get out and push. or risk letting the hull of the kayak get ripped open. This area right here is super shallow. I don't know if I want to even bother going up any further or not. Somebody lost their fishing line right there. I wonder if I can get over there and see if there's any lures in the tree. Yeah, oh yeah, Bubba, I think, was one of my first followers on here. So we go back a few months at least. Yeah, that is kind of weird. I plan on, once the financial situation makes a change here soon, looking at getting a couple of the spinners you made. I just haven't been able to yet. But yeah, go BubbaBillCustomBaits.com. Go check it out. Go buy some of his. He just started releasing and making spinner baits, like what, a month ago, Bubba, something like that. All right, let's see what we got here in this tree. It's braided line, whatever it is. Uh-oh. It's trying to escape on me. I got it out of the tree. We're going to clean up the river, I guess. We'll hear a little swim bait. Little swim bait. So I guess technically I've caught a fish. All right. All right, let's pull the rest of the line in. A lot of people use swim baits on this river, I know, at least in this area. So I've talked to quite a few. Ooh, we're dragging again. Goodness, how much line did this guy lose? We're still pulling it in. And I'm stuck now on my Rolling Thunder spinner baits at BubbaBillCustomBaits.com. So go check those out. We're cleaning up somebody's mess here. Goodness, it just keeps going. Wonder if there's a pull at the other end. And I'm stuck on my PFD also here. Oh no, there's the end. All right. All right, well, we got that at least. We at least cleaned up a part of the river, right? So, all right, we're going to see if we can't sneak past these low-lying stuff here real fast, and then we'll start floating our way back down. We may anchor up, because the anchor is actually working today. That's the first time. I hooked a line with the pole and fish. Nice. I've heard people that have found like good quality, expensive, like bait casters and stuff just floating in the water that people lost. But I haven't gotten that lucky yet. It's a nice little swim bait on this one that I found though. So oh, my battery is dying. Why? It should be plugged in. Well, that's interesting. Okay, well, we may have to end this much sooner than I thought, because the battery is dying over there on TikTok, which is odd because it's been plugged in this whole time, but somehow it didn't actually go. So, woo, we got turned around really fast. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start floating down. See about how this goes. I'm going to go ahead and put a new worm on as well. I do have shrimp with me also, but I'm not really interested in throwing it on. You just got to watch because there's some logs up here that it's kind of directing me towards. We're stuck. Correct. Stuck on something. And we're now going too far down. All right. Hold that thought, guys. I don't know what we're stuck on. We're not near anything yet. Yeah, no. There is something swimming around. I don't want us to get too close to these logs either. All right, so we're going to start heading back down the river a little bit. Hopefully I don't lose you guys to talk. I don't know why. I have no idea why my phone is not holding a charge anymore. Especially when it's plugged in at the moment. But we got some fish jumping over here. There we go. Finally got that one where I wanted it. Oh, well, that's part of the problem. My screen brightness was 100%. Oh, that might. All right, now we're dragging. That felt like a bite, not a drag. Oh, maybe there is a fish on. Yeah, there's a fish on. Hey, we got one. Woo! There we go. We got a fish. Oh, hello. He just popped right off, didn't he? Just about hit me in the face. Very small, tiny little smallmouth looks like. Actually, this may be a large. Let's see. If he'll let me Pick him up. My goodness. This guy's... Ouch. I can't get him. Goodness. Guy's slippery. There we go. We're on the board. We're on the board. Yeah, it's just a little tiny smallmouth. Probably, I don't know, maybe 10 inches. Not even. Probably 8 inches more. Yeah, a little smallmouth. Not too bad. We're going to flip the camera over for a minute, get a picture. Just in case I forget later. All right, put him back in. We're going to just let him go right there. And there he goes. We're on the board. So I thought that was, it felt like bites, but, you know, it's hard to tell sometimes. All right, so at least we stayed on for that. Although now we beached again, so I may have to get out. Let's get this moving again. Let's see. Yeah, the smallmouths that we've got in the river out here are just the colors on them are unmatched. And I'm colorblind, so if I'm able to see them, you know they're in good shape. And I lost my one. Oh, and Geo missed it. He was gone. All right. We're getting turned around again. Okay. All right. So TikTok, unfortunately, I'm probably gonna did it would I have kept them anyway? No. Um I don't normally keep any of the bass unless the white bass are good eating. Um white bass are good to eat. The large mouse, the small mouse, I've heard are okay to eat, but they're super, super tough and super, super gamey. And so, not something that I really want to mess with. My kids are not going to eat it most likely, so it's not going to be worth me taking home. So, the catfish I may take because catfish is always good eating for the most part. If it's of the right size and it's the right species for that size. I've only taken channels home. I've not taken anybody else. I could have taken that last big one that we caught a week or so ago, but I didn't have my cooler, so it wasn't worth messing with. Sorry. All right. But TikTok, I think we're going to have to cut this short because I need to make sure this phone stays alive. And TikTok is draining the battery a little bit. So, again, we'll put one more plug in. Make sure you guys are following us that and staying up to date as we are preparing to launch the site. That way you guys can keep all the get updated on all that good stuff. The site will be, hopefully the beta site will be live on Friday if everything goes according to plan, which you know how that is. So it's probably not going to go according to plan, but we're going to try. And then you'll be able to input your own spots and all of that as well. So we are going to shut this one down before that phone dies. That's the main phone I need to keep alive. And we will see all you guys later, probably Friday morning. We should be on for the pre-stream like we normally are. But if not, we'll see you guys eventually, I'm sure. I'm going to throw one more cast out before I turn you guys off. TikTok or Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, we're going to stay on for a little while until we get back to the truck, probably. Yeah, watch. We've got a bigger exposed log right here in front of me. We're going to throw that out. We're going to set it down. We're going to avoid crashing. And then we're going to say so long TikTok. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my battery lately, but it's not holding a charge even when plugged in. We're actually going to set it away from the sun so it doesn't get drained even while off. And we'll be able to hear it if it goes off in here. I don't know why my charger isn't working, but whatever. Ooh, I almost caught a tree on that. I'm going to throw the other side here. moving forward for a second. We got some leaves actually falling off these trees even. Ooh, we might have some. I'm not sure. It feels just like that other one did, so it's hard to tell if it's fighting or if it's just a current. There is stuff swimming right in here. Hopefully I don't get stuck. There's a lot of wood. Looks like there's somebody swimming around over here too, so we'll see. We're about to head into the more rapidy area. Where I need to reel this in because I'm gonna have to navigate this. I'm not sure. There might be something on here. Just like last. Nope, nothing. All right. We need to be able to navigate here a little bit more. So once we get past this, we'll cast again. think we're okay. As long as we stay straight, we'll be okay. I'll just go ahead and see about here. Oh, we lost our worm. All right. We are starting to pick up speed as we are going downstream, so we just got to keep an eye out. I think we're okay to go backwards here. Ooh, no, we're not. Hang on. Got to turn this way. One more turn. Avoid the big branches that are under the water. We cannot see until we get right on the top of them. All right. Over here is where we were getting bites earlier. See if anybody is still over there or not. We're starting to approach the rapids again, so we'll see if I have to get out and push or if we're going to be able to just float on by this time. I missed it. Yeah, I missed it. We are getting close to another set of rapids up here. Oh, that was bites. We lost the worm. It felt like it could have been, but I wasn't sure, and so I didn't want to over pull. But apparently it was because we don't have a worm on anymore. Ooh, we're getting blown into this current, so we need to get ready to paddle and avoid some big trees and rocks and everything else that are right around here. Ooh, something's swimming right here, though. That's right over that log. I'm not doing that. I was thinking about anchoring and trying for it, but I'm going to lose it right there. No, there is a spot right here that we can try. I'm not sure if we got fish on or not. It feels just like that other one. We are already almost back. It's not going to take us long to get up here once we got past, or once we got moving backwards. We have one on? Not sure. We might have one on. It's a little if it no. Just notice how much deeper over here it is than it looks. Means that we might be able to find somebody sleeping over here. There's a little creek that normally runs through here, but the water's too low. We are gonna we'll see if the anchor will actually catch on to anything down there or not. Because we're maybe moving too fast, but we're at least slowed down this way. Feels like it could have potential. It's shaded. It's slower moving water. There are a bunch of fallen logs all around it, but it's clean. So it should be hunting ground right there. Here as well. We are almost back to the truck anyway. It's just a matter of now getting into a safe spot to navigate all this stuff. That didn't feel good. We're through the worst of that. There's bubbles right here. Ooh, spider webs. Come on, fast here. There we go. Don't know what's going on, so we're gonna have to end it here. Restream is having some issues now. Make sure you're following us everywhere so you can stay updated on all the stuff we got coming up that we've been talking about today. And we will be shutting this down here momentarily. I was hoping to go back down the river a little bit further, but maybe I'll just call it good here since none of the phones seem to want to cooperate today. So the next time it goes off, it'll be off for good. We'll keep it on until then. I don't know what is going on. And now this isn't working either. Get turned. Ooh, there's fish jumping over here. We may actually have a spot right here. Maybe we'll throw the anchor down for a minute. See, we're not that far away from the truck. Got bites. Ooh, big bite. Oh, it's on. It's on. Oh, it let go. Man. Took the worm right off. All right. The anchor seems to actually be holding. So we're going to go ahead and sit here for a minute and keep trying. See if we can get this guy. So now we're moving again all of a sudden. Oh, yeah, he's on. he's jumping even. There's a good one. Good size. Better coloring even than the last one. There he is. We got another good one on here. A little bit bigger than last time. Definitely more active. But another one. There he goes. We're gonna see if his friends want to play, because there were a couple others over there. So let's get another nice big one on here. We have found a good spot to sit. Ready? All right, let's see if we can get another one. Got bites. Yeah, we got another one on. This one's bigger. Feels like. Yeah, this one's bigger. Ooh, this is a good size. We actually need the net for this. Actually, he's not as big as he felt or thought looked. There we go. Number 3 for today. All smalls. Oh, he's wrapped in the net now. Dude, just let go. Hook is out. Drop him back in the net for a minute. Let him get in the water. While we rearrange. He's actually trying to escape through the net. Right. Come on, bud. This one's a good size. Much bigger than the other ones were. Oh, I just dropped him again. Oh, man. Come on. These guys are very, very slippery and hard to hold. This guy is much, much bigger. But we got another one. This is our third one. Third smallmouth. We're going good. We're going to try again from right here. We may just use up the rest of our bait just sitting here. Because we're still on time with everything, as surprising as that is, because we weren't sure time-wise what we were going to be dealing with earlier on. It's stuck on my book bag now. There it goes. And to think, we were about to turn the camera off. Now we've caught two within what, 10 minutes? Probably less than that. Oh my goodness, an even bigger one just jumped up further up ahead where I had said they were, but I couldn't get to because it was wooded. But they're back there now too. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can get another one right here though. Oh, not that way, we can't. Bites. Nope, missed him. See if he comes back. I think he may have gotten the worm off. Oh, nope, maybe he's on. No, he's not. And neither is the worm. He got the worm off. Sure. We still got some more. So. They are definitely hungry over here. That one may have been too far up. We'll see. Bites.